Hey guys, welcome to this video, which is handstand holds. Now, before we even get into teaching you how to hold a handstand against the wall for any period of time, it's really important that you learn the fundamentals of where your hands should be, where your arms should be, and what should be activated whenever you're going to do a handstand. If you learn this from the very beginning, you learn this very foundational exercise from the ground up, so to speak, it really will set you in good stead for the rest of your training through this program. So Paul's going to demo exactly how your hands and arms and your body should be when you go into a handstand so that you know what to activate whenever you actually go to do the hold. You ready?
Okay. So we have, again, as all the exercises we've been talking about, push-ups, anything with straight arms, you see that we're coming over the same principle, the same cues, and that's the beauty of calisthenics, that they all interlink and they all complement each other. So what we're going to do here, you can fight shoulder width apart, slightly wider. Some people prefer that. I prefer to have mine completely shoulder width apart. What I'm going to do here now is I'm going to spread my fingers as much as I can. Then I'm going to lean forward, and if you see now, as I lean forward, my fingertips become white. Okay, doing that means all the pressure is through the balancing point, which actually the balancing point comes from your fingers. So I'm going to lean forward, my shoulders are as far over my fingers as possible. Okay, so try then, turn your biceps forward, locking your arms out.
Perfect. It looks, yeah. I think that's really important to just show how straight Paul's arms are. And a lot of people don't understand, like Paul was saying, that see how white his fingertips are? Whenever you balance in a handstand, you balance on your fingertips, just like you balance on your toes. If I was to chop your toes off, you wouldn't be able to stand properly. It would be very, very difficult for you to stand. It's the same in a handstand. This is where all your balance is. If you get this foundational position correct, from the very beginning, you're going to make it much easier. This is where the shoulder protractions also come in handy that you learned in one of the other exercises. So once Paul's pushing in here, then he's going to do his shoulder protraction to really get his upper body stable before he even goes into the handstand hold. So you will find that when you start to do this work correctly, your arms are going to be aching because you're going to be turning on muscles that you have never used before. This is not like when you were in school and you were a kid and you were kind of just, like, yeah, just, kicking up or whatever. No, this is learning how to do a handstand correctly, okay? So there's different variations of this exercise. We're going to show you easier, beginner, up to intermediate, right up to the hold at the wall. So you can choose your level and you can build up your strength as you go through the program.
Okay, so again, remember to get yourself set from the start. Hands shoulder width apart, spread those fingers, lean forward, look at your fingertips. Are they white? Yes, they are. I am in position. Turn those biceps around. Okay, from here now, what the idea is we always keep our shoulders forward. So this might be enough for someone to be holding that position. Okay, you might start feeling that in the triceps and the front of your shoulders. If that is too easy, bring your feet in closer, getting your bum high. But if you watch, my shoulders have stayed above my fingers. Obviously, the higher my bum goes, the more pressure is going to go through my wrist and go through my shoulders.
Can you bring your knees down, Paul?
Okay.
I want to show you what not to do. So a lot of people, whenever they're in this position and they go to lift your knees up slightly, they do this and they rock their shoulders back, lift your knees. They go into like a dog head down position. You want to make sure this does not happen, okay? If you're going into the slightly harder position, you want to make sure that, as Paul said, his shoulders are staying over his wrists the entire time. This is so important as you move into a harder position.
Okay, yep, and as you say, what you pointed out before, that shoulder protractions, the reason why we're doing that is again the stability in the hands.
Yeah, the exercise that came before this one.
Pushing through, lean forward, and you're pressing through. As you start to lean up, you see there's a little bit of an arch in my back.
Are you pressing into your hands the whole time, Paul?
Pushing, yeah. Think of the easiest way to turn on your biceps is actually think of going like this. Turning your hands out, and doing that will switch on the biceps, lock your elbows out, and that's the best way to think of it.
So you're not just hanging around on your hands, you're actively pushing them into the ground?
Actively pushing through them.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. So they can start off in an easier position, come into a slightly harder position. What would be the third position before they go to the wall?
Okay, so the closer your feet are, the harder it's going to be. You can then also use a box, use a sofa, use the edge of your bed.
Let's actually bring the box over and show them the box. So if you wanted to lift your legs up, this is going to make it slightly harder again before you go to the wall. Is it the higher the legs are, the harder it is?
Yeah, so having this raised up means that your feet is higher, which is going to then help your bum be above your head. And when doing handstands, stacking your hands, your head and your bum is really important to get into good alignment. So here now again, the further you have your hands out, the easier it's going to be. The closer you're going to be to the box, the straighter your body is going to be.
So hips over the head is what you're always aiming for.
Okay, so my hands are way out. I've walked myself in. Again, you can have your knees slightly bent. You see my shoulders are facing forward, or my shoulders over my hands. My fingertips are white, and my head is between my arms. You can look just between your fingertips. Straighten your legs out.
Excellent. And if you need to regress during the exercise, you need to drop back to an easier version, you totally can. So if you're starting out with your legs slightly straighter and you're finding it really, really hard, and you want to try and hold the hardest position for as long as you can, because that is what's going to build up strength. But if you need to regress and bend your knees slightly during the exercise, then you can totally do that as well. Then you can just work on staying in the harder position for longer and longer and longer as you work through the program. Okay, so hardest position then would be?
Now we're going to go against the wall. Against the wall here, we're going to practice both sides. So we're going to like belly facing the wall and back facing the wall. It's this where we're hitting all the shoulder muscles that we can to stabilize our handstand. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, again, no more than a hand's length away. I would say probably half a hand's length is perfect, therefore creating a good line. If you can, get your fingers against the wall, but that's going to be a lot harder. So again, hands shoulder width apart. I've got my hands slightly out. I'm going to lean forward. Obviously now the walls here, it's going to be hard, so I'm going to look down a little bit more, get my head down. I'm going to kick up into the handstand. I'm going to push down on my arms, so still biceps are facing forward. Core's tight, bum's tight, abs tight, and hold.
Excellent. Okay. I want to say here, if you could see Paul from the side, which we'll show you in a second, he actually doesn't have a huge boat or a huge dip in his back because he is so close to the wall. Now, you may find it hard to push up, to kick up to the wall in the beginning. A lot of people, I do find it very hard to kick up, but I find that's because they have their hands too far away from the wall. A lot of people start here and they start doing this. And they're like donkey kicking back and forth trying to get to the wall. You'll actually find it easier if you bring your hands closer to the wall and you just gently push up. And that's when you find yourself, it's actually easier if your heels are against the wall to balance. If you're too far out, you're simply going to be arching your back and donkey kicking into the wall. You'll find it very hard to get up there. So work on getting closer and closer to the wall. And the more weight you take in your hands from the earlier exercises we showed you, the stronger you're going to get, the more confident you're going to feel in handstand. Handstand is a lot about confidence and practice. Once you realize you're strong enough to hold it and you're not going to fall on your head, you'll be absolutely fine.
If you do find that actually quite a difficult thing to do is to get your bum up. So if you are in this arched position, your heels are against the wall, try to think of putting your bum onto the wall. And this is really good to correct that pelvic tilt that we keep talking about. So just for example, if you're kicked up and you're like this, okay? Some people, it's really hard to move your body upside down. What you want to do is stick your bum against the wall, squeeze your heels in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push through my heels, squeeze my bum, squeeze my abs, and that is going to level up your body.
Perfect.
Okay, keep
that core activated as well, which is so important whenever you're in a handstand. I always teach a handstand as well, like you should be in a slight boomerang position. A lot of people think in a handstand that you actually should be like this, but I always teach if you try and stick your bum out and feel like you're in a slight boomerang position, that's going to keep everything locked in, and that's so important for these handstand holds. The harder version of the exercise would be belly to the wall. A lot of people don't like doing this exercise because they find that they think they're going to fall over, and actually that is a very real concern for many people who aren't used to doing it. But if you wanted to do a harder version of the exercise, you would do it belly to the wall, isn't that right?
So you go walk yourself in, walk your feet up, come in. Again, the closer you can be, the more it's going to activate muscles. But this position can be quite difficult for people, so you have your hands probably at the maximum hands distance or hands length away from the wall. Again, always you see my bum is squeezing, my belly button, my pelvic bone are coming together. I'm pushing down through my arms, my biceps are facing forward, and I am squeezing everything together.
Excellent. And then to come out, you just walk forward, or you can just gently cartwheel your feet to the side as well. Handstands are hard, guys. Whenever I first started handstanding, a 60-second hold for me was absolutely impossible against the wall. It does take a lot of time to build up that strength. So just start at a lower level and work your way up. And you will find as you progress through the program that by the end of it, you're going to be at the wall for 60 seconds easily in a handstand, because everything is just going to turn on and be really strong and really engaged, and you're going to be amazed at what you can actually do. Anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for staying with us. This was a very long video, but hopefully you have learned an awful lot about handstand, and we will see you in the next video.